This is home. Twin States News starts right now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Emanuel. Pet owners in Meridian should be aware of an upcoming law change regarding their animals. Twin States News' Colby Sims has the details.
Meridian City Council reached a 4-to-1 vote approving a request from Meridian Animal Control to begin a pet registration process at the beginning of next year. This registration system will help reunite lost pets with their rightful owner. Twin States News stopped by Petco to ask local pet owners how they feel about this new requirement.
I think it's a good idea to get the lost pets back to their owners, but I feel like pressuring me into doing something to put something into my animal is my decision, not theirs. So with that being said, I feel like a responsible owner should put a tag on their animal themselves. And of course, every pet's going to get out, but that's why they have a collar with the tag on it with your name and number. That way they can get a hold of you.
Another dog owner, Marcus Nation, says he is uncomfortable with how the government is forcing this on its citizens.
I don't believe I want to have a chip in me. I ain't going to have it with my dog. I don't believe anyone should have it with their animals either. If people want to opt in for that, that's fine, but it ultimately should be a choice.
Animal Control Supervisor Brian McCary says having both the collar tag and the microchip will help maximize returning lost pets to their owners. But locals in the city of Meridian have mixed feelings about registering their pets at the start of this upcoming year. Colby Sims, Twin States News, Meridian.
While most students had the day off today for fall break, others spent the day learning about history and potential jobs in the community. Twin States News' Jacobus Roby shows us how students gained knowledge while also enjoying a trip to the airport.
Ward 4 Councilwoman Ramonda Walker and the Meridian Regional Airport came together to give students in the community a tour of the airport while also learning the history as well.
And the kids have never seen the airport, but they see the planes all the time. And I'm a big person on education. I want them to know about it.
The students not only learned information about the airport, but also about planes and even firefighters as well.
This could be their career choice. They may want to be pilots. They may want to be airline students. They may want to work on these planes. I want them to see something else that they can do in life.
Clarkdale students Elijah Hardaway, Kalia Howard, and Cameron Howard enjoyed learning about the different planes.
I just like looking at planes,
It was fun. Seeing the firefighters, it was fun.
I learned about how airplanes were back then in the days.
Councilwoman Walker says she enjoyed showing students of Ward 4 to learn about planes and the history and potential jobs that are out there in the future. In Meridian, Jacobus Roby, Twin States News.
2024 presidential candidates are reacting to the deadly attacks on Israel, saying how they would respond if elected to the Oval Office. Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
We are in very, very grave danger of having a World War III.
It's a race for the White House being dominated by foreign affairs as the war in Ukraine rages on and Hamas militants launch the deadliest attack on Israel in decades.
This was an act of pure evil. I hope that Hamas is wiped off the face of the earth.
We will make sure that Israel has the resources to defend themselves.
2024 Republican presidential candidates denouncing the attacks on Israel on the campaign trail while taking aim at the current commander-in-chief.
Iran is a problem, and our federal government and Biden, they need to stop coddling a country that wants to see our country dead and wants to see Israel dead.
This is when the president has to send a very clear and unmistakable message to those folks around the world about what our response will be if Americans are further harmed.
Several in the GOP field suggest the Biden administration empowered the attack on Israel after unfreezing $6 billion in Iranian funds. But the White House says that money has not been spent.
I've dealt with Iran. They are playing a shell game. They're moving money around as we speak.
So far, more than 1,000 people have been killed by Hamas, the White House confirming the deaths of at least 9 Americans. The terrorist group is now threatening to execute hostages if Israel fights back with airstrikes in Gaza without forewarning.
I think we need to stand with Israel. I think we need to stand strongly.
The White House says President Biden will be speaking with several close allies about the latest developments in Israel this afternoon. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Israeli forces launching wide-scale airstrikes against Hamas. This after the terror group launched the deadliest single-day attack against the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Greg Palcott has more from Jerusalem.
The Israeli military strengthening its power at the border with Gaza, this as the battle with Hamas militants is in its third day.
We have only started striking Hamas. What we will do to our enemies in the coming days will reverberate with them for generations.
Over the weekend, terrorists stunned the country and the world with a coordinated surprise attack on southern Israel. Hundreds of people were killed, including several Americans.
I can't begin to tell you how shocked and traumatized the country is.
Complicating operations for Israelis are the hostages taken by Hamas. At least 100 people are being held captive in Gaza. The Israelis want to save those people while also eliminating Hamas.
We're talking about elderly and sick people, children, women, not combat soldiers. Hopefully, we'll be able to get them back.
Israeli forces have recaptured areas near the Gaza Strip, but isolated clashes remain.
Right now, we've managed to stabilize it. We are focused now in taking care of the terrorists.
The Wall Street Journal reporting Iran helped Hamas plan its attack on Israel.
Iran is the big puppet master, which is, in my opinion, has coordinated this whole thing.
U.S. officials, however, say they have not seen any evidence of Iran's involvement in the attacks. The Israeli government has now announced a complete siege of the Gaza Strip with no food or fuel allowed in. In Jerusalem, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
The war in Israel is having a significant impact in the United States. Nearly 50 people from a church in Tennessee are in Israel right now. Members of that church say they are relying on God's word during this difficult time. Andrew McClung reports.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing?
As church members arrived Sunday to Sunnyside Baptist Church in Kingsport, and as the doors were shut to start the service,
my heart's troubled because there were 48 people that are not here.
Heavy hearts were on the mind of many in attendance, including Andrew Gibbons.
It was a little concerning. I mean, I stopped and said a prayer right when I first heard about it.
This as 48 church members with ages ranging from young teenagers to older adults were visiting Israel and are currently still there as a war rages on with Hamas following a surprise attack on Israel.
I was somewhat overwhelmed because I didn't know where they were in relation to the bombings and the missiles and all that. So it was devastating.
All the storms that are over our head are always under his feet.
Associate Pastor David Luster was able to learn from Senior Pastor Bill Sims, who was on the trip, that they were touring Masada when the conflict began.
They had to load their back on the bus and come back to a safer spot.
And even from their hotel just 80 miles away, Luster was told
they could hear the missile or they could hear the bombs going off.
As the chaos continues,
we're going to alter our program. We're going to have a special time of prayer.
Church members came together Sunday in a moment of prayer for their friends and family.
We've got husbands here, their wives is there. We've got people here, their children are there. And we come together. I felt it was necessary for the body to come together.
It's a comfort knowing that many people are focused on the same thing, and that that we're praying to a God that answers prayers and will protect our people that are there.
At a time with so much unknown, Luster says the community is relying on God's word and prayers.
We need to understand that the most powerful thing that believers have is the weapon of prayer. We can pray and God can do miraculous things, and it's not because we have the ability, but it's because God is all powerful.
With the hopes of a safe return for their flock back home to their shepherd.
A candidate for president switches parties. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing today that he will run for president as an independent candidate instead of a Democratic one. Kennedy telling supporters in Philadelphia he's not only breaking free of the major political parties, he wants to lead the charge for voters to do the same.
An independent candidate for president of the United States. That's not all.
I'm here to join you in making a new Declaration of Independence for our entire nation.
RFK Jr.'s switch theoretically puts him closer to voters who are unhappy with both political parties and want an alternative to the expected Biden-Trump options come next year. Your complete forecast is coming up next, plus some good news for those who plan to ship presents during the holidays. Stay with us.